Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date, reference 1803, with Spanish language calendar. You can see and you can purchase this early 1960s yellow gold Rolex Day-Date on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this vintage Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date. Now, the watch nicknamed the President in this case may be El Presidente because it features a Spanish calendar. So if you speak Spanish, prefer Spanish, or simply wish to have the romance of a Romance language on your wrist, this watch is an outstanding choice, and it's classically proportioned and sized. 36 millimeters across the round of the case on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. You can see that it's also relatively thin, but not excessively so, thanks to the vintage plexiglass, which adds a little bit of loft, but will not encumber a dress cuff. The watch is 12.1 millimeters thick, and from solid end link to solid end link, we're going with total distance across the wrist here. The watch measures 47.7 millimeters. Rest assured, a watch like this has the persona, the gravitas, and the stance to look equally at home on a huge wrist as it does on a smaller wrist such as mine. And I would say down to about 13 centimeters, 13 and a half centimeters, you can wear this watch security with great proportion. Now, the other thing about this watch is that it features a President bracelet. Although the Day-Date has long been nicknamed the President, it's a fact that the bracelet itself is known as the President. That's not a nickname, that's Rolex nomenclature. Here you can see it has a little bit of wear, not excessive though. As you can see internally, it maintains its original hallmarking, as well as the Rolex logo and the patent notification. You will also see on the opposing side the stamp attesting to the original date of manufacture, and you can see this one is 162. So, the bracelet of the same vintage as the watch itself. You'll also note pre-crown clasp, correct to the era of this timepiece, which features a serial number of roughly 785,000, so tail end of 1962, early 1963. And of course, because of that era, you may have noticed that the tritium sigma dial is a little bit out of step with the rest of the watch. I believe that this is a Rolex service replacement dial from the 70s or 80s, as the tritium and sigma signature together would have been at the earliest early 70s rather than early 60s when this watch was manufactured. But you can see the watch does feature excellent condition across that Rolex factory service dial, with each individual tritium luminescent dot correctly stationed per factory tolerances outboard of each hand-applied and faceted hour index. It is an immaculate dial, and the tritium patina of the indices matches that of the hands at center. It's also a beautiful champagne sunburst. As you can see, the grain of the dial creates an incredible dynamism in soft light or direct light. The golden day and date discs are correct, featuring open 9s and 6s, and the Cyclops eye is a charming little bubble, as ever, a little imbalanced, a little bit perhaps of a character mark on a vintage Rolex, especially given the plexiglass that produces that wonderful off-axis distortion through the Cyclops and, just in general, through that beautifully defined, almost completely unmarked vintage plexiglass. Everything about this watch speaks to excellent ownership care and a charmed life throughout its long existence. You can also see that underneath the satin finished case back, well, perhaps you can't see, but I'll help you to imagine, Rolex automatic caliber 1555, beating away at 18,000 vibrations per hour, a stately traditional beat rate. It was born with the reference 1803, and it provides roughly a 40 to 45 hour power reserve. It does feature a Breguet overcoil, and it is a certified chronometer, such that it's very precise, and thanks to the overcoil, also resistant to positionally induced timing deviation. Free Sprung for durability. When the watch was new, it would have had 5 ATM water resistance, but as ever, I advise you not to wear your vintage watches in the pool. The watch features 26 jewels. It's an old-school, slow-beat Rolex Day-Date movement, but still a pedigreed chronometer. A timepiece with a lot of character, with a lot of flair, a European inflection with the Spanish language dial, and of course, the vintage appeal unique to traditionally sized, traditionally detailed, traditional character Rolex watches. You can see this Rolex reference 1803 Vintage Day-Date and purchase it on our website.